Oh, hi! So today we're going to be talking about the volume of a rectangular prism, how to find volume, and how that differs from area. So let's get started. First, before we get too deep into it, deep because of volume, get it? We'll move on. We need to understand what volume is. So let's take a look. We're using a 3D shape, and volume is measuring the space that fills the inside. We've already covered area, which is the outside, and surface area, which is the entire outside, but now we're going in and talking about volume. Volume is the space that measures the inside, all the way up. If we want to measure how much room is taken up. For example, how much space is in the inside of this prism, or how much space is on the inside of this cup. We could use it to measure how much water could fit inside this cup. Not a lot, I guess. Now, let's get started. If you look here, are you dry? We're moving on. If you look here, you can see that we have a rectangular prism. We know how to find the surface area and the area of one shape. But let's talk about how this tells us what volume is. Area is when we measure it in square units. So when we think of area, we're measuring for this square length times width, or base times height, whichever one you want to call it, and that's one side and the other side. We multiply this side together and this side together. We multiply those two sides together, our answer is going to be written in square units. Area is square units. Now I'm going to write that down. Volume, on the other hand, we measure 3 different dimensions. It's a 3-dimensional or 3D shape. So let's look at this shape in 3D. Everyone put on your 3D glasses that were given to you at the beginning of the ride. Fantastic. Now we can get started. Now you have your 3D glasses on, you can see that this shape is in actuality in 3D. It's like it's coming out at you. Now, if you want to look here, you can see that we measure these two for area, but in volume we've had another dimension, the length, and that's going to be shown if we take this square and we were to stretch it out, we would end up with volume. That's the length, and that has our 3rd dimension. I look at it like this. See this deck of playing cards right here? We can find the area of one of these playing cards. This side by this side. We multiply these two sides, you have the area of this playing card. But if we look, we can also get a 3D image, or a 3D shape, like right here, by taking this one card and stretching it out, so we now have a 3D image. Now we can multiply the area by this length to get the volume, how much space this entire thing takes up. So let's look at how we find volume and how it relates. This brings me to my last thing. I said 3D image. That means with our 3 dimensions, instead of square units, volume is going to be in cubic units. We're going to cube our answers. So it's in cubic units. So instead of a small 2, because we're doing length times width times height, you're going to write a small 3. All volume is in cubic units. Let's do an example of how to find volume, and then we'll give you a chance to practice on your own. So here we have a rectangular prism, and we're going to talk about finding the volume, the measurement inside. So you were taught in 3rd and 4th grade that volume is length times width times height. That would be this measurement right here, this measurement right here, and this measurement right here. Measuring this side, and this one going all the way back. Or, to look at it on an actual shape, that would be measuring this side, and this side going all the way back. Now, in 6th grade, we're going to take that and take it to another level. So instead of writing the formula as length times width times height, we're going to write the formula a little bit differently. To find the volume of a rectangular prism, the first thing you want to do is find the area of one side. I usually use the front side, the side they give you the measurements for. So they'll give you the area, they'll give you the measurements for this, and you're going to find the area of this. So for example, if this was a 5 and this was a 4, the area of this front would be 20. So now we know the measurement of this. Now what we're doing is we're going to multiply that by the length. We have 20 square units, and we're going to take those 20 square units and stack them all the way along so they fill up all the way to the other end. So we just have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and however long it is. In this case, it's going to be 10. In this case, our length is going to be 10. So you find the area of one side, and then multiply that can't spell today, by the length. Multiply it by the length. So if this is 20, we take 20, our area, multiply it by the length, and that gives us our volume. 20, which is the area, times 10, which is the length, gives us 200 units cubed. Which means our formula would be the base, which is this guy right here, the base, the width times the height, base times the height, this area right here, times the length. This goes beyond what you learned with putting length times width times height, and it has you finding this area and then multiplying it. Same principle, but now you're learning it on a deeper level. So that's how we find our volume, by first finding the area and then multiplying it by the length. And finally, when you write your answer, please make sure to write your answer in cubic units.